Oh man, we have another episode. Austin, in fact, is here. I promise. He's a little sick. Yeah, barely
It's a
here.
flu. Yeah, it's a flu game. Flu game for me.
Yeah. On top of that, terrific weekend you had. This is gonna help you out, right? Fighting through this to do
Yeah,
this podcast.
yeah. It's 3 home losses in a row. Talked a lot of crap for no reason.
Yeah,
Clearly.
we'll get to that. But welcome everybody to Austin Oli, a sports podcast. We're going at it today. I think we got a good episode. We got social medias. We got our Instagram running up, so we're gonna start posting videos on there. So give that a follow. Austin _ and _ Oli.
Yeah. That's it. Austin _ Oli, and then follow us on TikTok too and YouTube. All that stuff. We post everything on there too. But everything will be in the show description. So if you want to go follow us, if you can't find us, just check us out in the show description. It'll be there for us as well.
That sounds good. Yeah, so we got all that going on. This weekend reminded me like a little bit. Is like I guess I'm kind of famous. I went to the TCU game, obviously, with Austin for the first time tailgating, and he introduced me to all his friends. Stuff. Oh, you're the podcast guy. I'm like, that's me. That's me. Shit, so we're good. I guess we're kind of famous, man. Shit.
I wish, bro. I know. I want maybe one day. We'll
yeah,
get there.
man. But we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff today. Austin was basically everywhere, but in a winning situation. I'll tell you that right now.
Not a single one.
But yeah, first TCU game, we're gonna talk about that and how. I mean, not that it was I'd say neutral fan for me right now. It was pretty fun. Austin's perspective, probably not as fun. Yeah, the celebrities were out at LAFC, including my co-host Austin was there. He was on the sheet of all the famous people. I swear I saw you there.
Yeah, it was there. It was there in the bottom in the little print. I was right there. Co-host Austin Oli. That was it.
Yep. But yeah, we're gonna talk about that and just like your experience and everything you did this weekend, basically. Because
for sure.
I wish I did that. But let's get into it, man. Premier League. I'll start it off. West Ham just keeps on winning. Keeps on winning, man. Still can't keep a clean sheet. Talked about it last week. How it pisses me off how we just can't keep a clean sheet. They conceded 93rd minute, and just can't keep a clean sheet even against London Town. And you get the 3 points, but once you start getting like bigger teams, like you got City when we come back from this international break. So we're gonna test your defense. Let's see how disciplined they can be. But yeah, we spoiled their home opener. It was a tough environment. I could tell. Like at the very beginning, they were getting cooked. I don't know if you watched the game. I watched a little bit until I had to leave for golf. But yeah, I left and I thought we were gonna get the clean sheet. And I leave and some of my buddies had like West Ham keepers or West Ham defenders on their fantasy team. They're like, fuck West Ham, bro. They're gonna keep the clean sheet. I'm like, oh my! I thought I turned it off. I was like, I can leave. I don't have to worry about anything. Then goals from Bowen and Zuma. Another assist from James Ward-Prowse. He just keeps on being one of the best signings next to Edson Alvarez. He was man of the match and clearly still a fan favorite. He's just physicality, man. This is nothing to him, bro. He's going into tackles like studs.
Yeah.
This is his environment. He loves it, bro.
Yeah, what he used to. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm loving that he's not having trouble with that. I think if anything, just his stamina is still getting there, trying to get back into like 90-minute fitness. So I think he'll get there soon enough. But yeah, Paqueta gets an assist too, so he was looking pretty good. He's more of like you got to watch him player. He's not really a stat guy last year. If you look at his stats, he wasn't like amazing, but it's just a player you got to watch, and you'll see how he can make a difference. And like I talked about, next match is City at home. I think it's good for us, right? It picked the perfect time to play them. I mean, we're probably still going to get smacked, but you get the international break, you get everyone set, and maybe you have the new defender, the Greek guy, can't remember his last name, long-ass last name, and you got Kudus too. So yeah, they get comfortable, and we'll see how this lineup's going to look like against City. And it's going to be counterattack. It's going to be like Brighton, but obviously City is going to be able to take care of those chances, unlike Brighton. And let's see how disciplined they can be.
Yeah, I'm hoping that you guys at least take points off of City.
Oh,
just because. Yeah, because like obviously, looking at the table, City are on top. I think right now with 4 wins, and they're the only team that hasn't dropped points yet. So I mean, having them drop points to you guys, who are also you guys are currently in 4th right now. So that'd be a big thing for the title race. I mean, I'm not saying that West Ham are pushing for the title. No offense, but
why not?
I think that
I don't see why not.
I purely see for exactly why. For teams like Arsenal, Liverpool, like I've had so many things that I've said come wrong, so I don't even want to throw Spurs in there. But just like teams like that are competing for a title race, with City, I think that having them drop points this early on would be big. And it's not like West Ham is like them playing West Ham is something and dropping points. West Ham is out of question. I think that West Ham are playing a tough brand of soccer to go against, which it may not be like super pleasing to the eye, and it may not be something that everybody loves, and it's not high flying, but it's getting results. And at the end of the day, right, like the final score is all that matters. And if you guys are winning, you guys are getting the points. Who cares how it looks? I mean, that's clearly evident by when you guys played Brighton. So, yeah, man, I'm pumped for you. I think it's a good time to be a West Ham fan. I think that they've spent their Declan Rice money really, really well. I'm excited to see what they look like after the international break, and they kind of get some of the last two new signings kind of integrated and see how they look. I think the City game is going to be a pretty big game to watch. And then obviously, I don't know if you mentioned it, but you guys are starting Europa League up soon, so
that'll be exciting.
That'll be good to kind of get some of that squad rotation. Yeah, so yeah,
we'll see how our depth looks like with those guys. I think we have a pretty decent depth squad. Like you said, Spurs is kind of like you guys have brought in starting 11. Yeah. After that, there's really not much. So I think we have a decent bench too. I mean, we did that last year, except for I think Declan Rice and Antonio were the main guys that just consistently kept playing. That's all we had.
Yeah.
So now I'm excited to see how our depth can be.
Do you guys have those guys behind Antonio? Do you guys have another striker?
Young dude. I think he's on the squad. He scored last year in the Conference League too. But it's just like a academy player that's just it's barely his second year.
Yeah,
I think that's our backup striker.
No, that makes sense.
I'm being honest. Nathan Bowen.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, you'd probably just shift Bowen up there. But yeah, man, that's cool. I know Europa League will be pretty big for you guys. And who else in your group for Europa?
Who they're opening up is that Serbian team. Yeah, TSC. I'm not going to try to mention their name, man. I thought we got in a pretty tough group, if I'm being honest. Or at least some teams that I at least know. Olympiacos, Freiburg, the other guys. Yeah. So I don't think it's gonna be a walk in the park for sure. So I think it's some good competition. I think they should still make it out, obviously, but some good competition.
I remember going when Spurs, I think they were in Champions League and they played Olympiacos, and that's a super tough environment to play. I have a couple friends that are really big Olympiacos fans, and they're big upping them. So yeah, man, I'm curious to see how you guys do, and I think it'll be cool, especially to watch and kind of see how it goes. So sweet, man.
How are y'all gonna do in European nights? I was gonna ask you that.
All right, yeah,
you can talk about your team right here too. I'll transition to that.
That's a fun joke. That's a fun joke. Kick him in while he's down
today, bro.
That's crazy. All right, yeah. So moving on to Spurs, 5-2 win at Burnley. I'll try to keep it short. Big win. Finally got the offensive attack going. And crazy that it coincides with Richarlison being benched and Son moving into striker, which he immediately scored a hat trick. So I think that was kind of the plan all along, was for Ange to kind of let Richarlison have his run, knowing that it wouldn't work, and then eventually move Son into that role, which has worked perfectly. So hopefully kind of keeps that up. I'll be interested to see how after the international break, what happens. I know that Richarlison, I think, is going with Brazil. So I don't know, maybe going home for a little bit and kind of getting his mind right will kind of help him get a little bit better. But who knows, man. Some big takeaways. Madison is still balling. He looks unbelievable. He can really even at 40 million, he looks like a bargain. I think that he's probably the best player on our team, at least form wise. And then could be in discussion for best player in the Premier League. I think his form right now should absolutely have him start in the England squad with I think it should be him, Declan Rice, and Jude as that little midfield three.
It's a nasty midfield, man.
It's a nasty midfield. So I think that just everything that he's been doing really since he got to Spurs has been fantastic. He's a great leader too. He's he was a vice captain not even 2 months after joining, which is I feel like is pretty big and kind of just shows the kind of character that he has as a person. Our fullbacks, I don't know if you watched the highlights for this, but Pedro Porro, our right back, he played a disgusting ball that led Son in for his third goal. And it was probably a 40 or 50 yard pass that just like dropped perfectly right in front of Son, right in his path to run and just finish it. And so that's something that, like, if he can keep doing that and staying defensively sound, that's really impressive. And then on the left side, Destiny Udogie he's like an Italian, like U21, and just moving into the Premier League. This was his first year in the Prem, and like he pretty much right away like settled in and just has shown his quality. I think he has like an assist or two this year already, and just he's really kind of just locking down that left side. So it's something that like takes me back to the days when we had like Danny Rose and he was playing week in, week out, really in that like Champions League final season in 2019, where like we had somebody at left back that was like a constant game changer, and that's kind of something that Udogie has that is really nice. Christian Romero is probably my favorite player on the team. Just like I love his attitude. He's a World Cup winner. Like, and then just randomly he scores a world class like top bins goal off of a corner, like from outside the box too, which like nobody would expect. And he plays with like so much passion. I think that it's infectious to kind of watch him play, and it makes it fun. Makes it fun supporting him. Makes it fun. You know, you see him like winding people up too. It's just like a good time. So. We play next after the international break. We play Sheffield United at home, which, you know, you just got to take care of business in games like that and kind of keep the run going, keep the form going, which will be good. Kind of hitting on the fact that you kind of mentioned that, you know, Spurs aren't playing European soccer anymore, or at least this season. We're already out of the Carabao Cup, so pretty much from here until holidays, we're playing one game a week, which for the league is a good thing. I mean,
it could be a very good thing, yeah, for y'all.
It could be a very good thing. So I don't want to say that Spurs are going to challenge for the title. I can't say that. I'm so tired of jinxing things at this point. This is now 6 weeks into it. I think that I'm not going to say it, but it's just something to keep an eye on. That's all I want to say. But yeah, man, that's kind of all I have on Spurs. I know we were at the tailgate on Saturday when the game was going on, so I had to catch the highlights after the fact. But yeah, man, I'm really happy with everything that has been happening. Just signed Brennan Johnson from Forest, which will be kind of good to add as like another like striker winger type, which will be nice. So yeah, man, looking forward to after the international break, kind of seeing how we look, and hopefully we can keep this run going. But yeah, on to the match of the week. We're going to start kind of just featuring only one match in the Premier League when we talk about it, trying to shorten some of this stuff up. I felt like the match of the week was Arsenal United. Obviously, big top 6 match between two, you know, teams that are pushing for European soccer, and Arsenal really challenging for the title. I think that it was a 3-1 win on Arsenal. It was Sunday morning, I think, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Did you have a chance to watch it at all or anything like that? Yeah, so
I did. I made sure to wake up for that. I caught it
while I was on the plane. Yeah. So I caught it while I was on the plane, had a little bit of it. What are some of your big takeaways of the game, and kind of what did you think while you're watching
it? Just Manchester United in general. I mean, it's all right. Rashford had a really good goal to start it off, and then it just shows you. I don't know if you saw that clip with I think it's like some Man U guys that do like live stream or like they during the games, and they're like, guys, we need to calm down. Like Arsenal does this, like we get carried away, but Arsenal's going to come back and they're going to score pretty quick on us. Right? Yeah. He finishes his sentence, and then they score that beautiful field of goal, bro. Yeah. I think it was Odegaard that scored, yeah. But it was a beautiful it was a beautiful build up, and I was just like, oh my god, because like this is what I'm glad I woke up to watch this. Like this is what I want to watch.
Yeah.
And then Rashford still, he had a couple other plays where he could have had like a better play IQ, and he just didn't. Decide to take 3 guys on his own and try to keep going to his right foot and get a outside the box shot or curl shot, and didn't end up working out. And you saw everything in this game, man. VAR was
it was crazy.
Fun. It's scary now because you can't celebrate. I mean, Richarlison knows this now, that you really can't. You can't celebrate. You don't know yet, and especially in one of those goals. Like everyone has been boosting. I think it was Gabriel, that did the offside trap. That was able to come back.
Oh
that
my
goal
gosh!
From
literally,
Garnacho.
Literally, like millimeters.
Dude, yeah, picture, yeah. And it's like, we could probably talk about this another time, but I'm not a big fan of VAR just because, like, I mean, it was not always part of the game, and like, it just happened. I feel like you have to deal with adversity, and like, it just matters how you do it. Like, refs make mistakes. Sometimes it's terrible mistakes, but it just happens. It's human error, and like, that's how you got to live with. You can't do that in real life. Go back and fix stuff. So, but stuff like that, I mean, it kind of ruins the game, but also makes it more interesting. But I mean, you see Garnacho kissing the badge, doing everything, and then I was like, dude, that might be offside. I was like, I don't know. And then they check it up offside, and then you talked about we'll talk about the adding of the injury time, which I'm a big fan of personally, because it just makes it to like, okay, waste time here, but you're gonna get that added at the end anyways. So you're gonna be tired, and they clearly got Manchester United. They were trying to go eager for the tying goal, and then Gabriel Jesus sends, who was it for a hot dog? Who did he send? Was it Dallo?
Yeah, it was Dallo.
Dude, I could have called that from a mile away. I was like, Jesus, you better like fake shot here. Like, you have to. And like, you can't blame Dallo for that. Like, it was going to be a good tackle. If he would have shot, he was right on it. But I mean, you got to like recognize he's a right-footed guy, and the fake shot, and you just looking like an idiot, and Gabriel Jesus just cool, calm, and collective, and just slots in the bottom corner, and just... It was a lovely goal, man. But it was a good game, like you said. You had everything. You had the VR controversy and just great game in general. And Arsenal ends up taking the 3-1 win, and you get to see former Hammer Declan Rice score a goal.
Yeah. So I think that definitely the new injury time and the revised rules behind that are kind of showing now that they're making big impacts. I mean, right, Declan's goal is in the 96th minute. Jesus' goal is in the 101st minute. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of just playing a big part. And I know that it's happened like that in other games too. I really do think that United are in trouble because I think Arsenal dominated pretty much a majority of that game. Obviously, Arsenal had that penalty that was overturned, and then vice versa. Garnacho's goal was also ruled out. But I think that Arsenal kind of still dominated the majority of it. And, now looking at like United's 4 games into the season, they've only won 2. And both of those have come against Wolves and Forest, which aren't, they're not teams that are looking to be pushing for really anything specific. I mean, I think both those teams are just trying to survive. So it's kind of concerning if I was a United fan to see how they do. So I know there's a lot of like Ten Hag questions on what he's doing and kind of some of the selection stuff. And then obviously like on like social media, they're kind of in hot water when it comes to like the Greenwood like loaning him to Getafe, I think.
Getafe. Mm-hmm.
And also now, and then Anthony, like all the like domestic violence stuff that he has going on in Brazil. So there's a lot of like narratives and kind of uncertainties surrounding United that I think isn't good for them. But I think that United are kind of transitioning to Arsenal. I think Arsenal looks pretty good in this game, and I think that they're kind of primed to repeat some of the success that they had last season. I will be curious to see how they do when like Champions League comes around and all that stuff and how they balance it. But they also were in Europa last year, so it's not like it's going to be something that they're like super not used to in regards to like the squad depth kind of thing. But I think that the Champions League fixtures are just a little bit more like intense, require a little bit more playing of your first choice lineup versus Europa, how you may have somebody that you don't really have to play a first choice lineup against, so you can kind of rotate a little bit more. So yeah, man. Do you have any big takeaways for the Premier League? I think that's kind of all I had and all the stuff I really wanted to hit on.
That's about it. You mentioned a little bit just the Manchester United, and also their 2 wins were Wolves and Nottingham. You could easily say those wins were not comfortable for those guys. You have the comeback win against Nottingham. You were down 2-0 quickly, and then Wolves, you had a controversy call where there could have been a penalty. So it's scary. Yep. You can say, yeah, we have 6 points, but like, hey, those 6 points, you did not win comfortably.
Easily could have been 0 or 2 points.
Or 1.
And
exactly. Or 2, exactly. Did tie both games. That's all I got for Premier League, man.
Well, cool, man. Well, I'll go ahead and get my glove. Let's get ready for Oli and Outfield.
Let's do it, man. Hold it. There's a lot to talk about. I was about to punch my hand like as a glove sign, but points over to Julio Diaz. So that just leads perfectly to it, man. He is on the way to the game yesterday at the Ranger game. On the way, get the notification. It says, Diaz gets charged for domestic violence again. So it's not the first time. It's sad, man. It was outside. Supposedly, I saw like this Reddit thing that some guy said that he works at the LAFC game and that they saw him, like, it was at the game supposedly, and they saw him doing it, and like they pushed him out and everything, like they're getting him out of the way and stuff. So it's a sad thing, especially like as a Mexican, or like, you know, people love what he has. I mean, especially in Dodger, like the Dodger team. I mean, mostly Hispanic Mexican people, like him striving, winning a World Series, like it was just awesome. And then I remember my mom would be like, "Oh, like look at it, yes, like he has a cool story." And I'm like, "Yeah, mom, but he beats women." He's beating people. He's beating women, and this is the second time. So I really think this should be the last time we probably ever hear of him, if it's true. I mean, right now they're just allegations. We don't know yet for a fact, but I mean, we wouldn't be surprised since he's already had priors to it. I think it was like a 20-game suspension. But it's gonna be tough to come back from that, I think. And then Trey Turner has been on a tear as of late. He was getting booed on his at-bats. It was bad towards the beginning of the season. And he just decided to turn it up. And obviously, he's showing why he got paid that $300 million contract with the Phillies. And he's also leaving on paternity leave today, which means he's going to be expecting a child. But if you go back 9 months before, some people like to do this when there's a big athlete or something, like, why are they on paternity leave? Like, what happened 9 months ago?
What happened 9 months ago?
What happened 9 months ago? He signed the $300 million contract. So he was excited, and he said, "Hey, we can have a baby. Let's do it.
Baby. Yeah, let's make a baby.
Let's make a baby." Exactly. So, congrats to him. So, other hand, Lucas Giolito played for 3 teams this year so far. Started off with the White Sox, traded to the Angels, got waived, and to the Guardians.
Okay.
Lucas Giolito did something that hasn't been done since 1899. Jeez. I don't know if he wants to be part of this list though. He is the first pitcher to allow 8+ runs in a game for 3 different MLB teams in the same season. Since Bill McGee did in 1899 for the Louisville Cardinals, Philadelphia Phillies, and the Washington Senators. So
that's crazy.
I was trying to think of like 3 teams in one season's pretty like crazy. But it's like, no, I mean, it happens. Just like trade or like get released, and like people pick you up. So it happens often more if you think about it. But then like on your debut game for each of those teams, you gave up at least 8 runs. It's crazy to me.
That's just like sucking on a whole other level. And I feel like, I don't even know, because he was a pretty good pitcher last year too, right? So I feel like at this point, it's got to be something like on the mental side. Like you're tipping your pitches, or just like not having that confidence in your abilities, and kind of just showing like it just kind of just waterfalls at that point, which is brutal.
And when he got traded, I think he was like a sub-4 ERA, like I want to say like 370-ish. So obviously he's a good pitcher. Just I mean, it happens to the best of us, but that's just, I think it's a funny stat to have. Obviously, it's not something he wants to have.
The fall off is crazy.
Yeah. Stick with the Angels. They stay poverty. Obviously, they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose Shohei Ohtani for a while, I think. Or he got pulled yesterday from the start. He got scratched because of an oblique injury, and they're gonna have their team picture today. But they said he wasn't available, so they pulled not a stunt double, but like it says body double. A body double for the team photo. He's all in Shohei. I would do it, bro. If they went up to you and say, "Hey, bro, we need you to be Shohei for this picture. You wear the uniform.
Yeah, it's funny.
And you fit you fit the requirement. You got the height. You got the size. It'd be an honor to be Shohei Ohtani. Yeah, just for the picture, just standing next to everyone.
It's like a fun story too.
I was like, "Hey, you know I was Shohei Ohtani?" He was like, "Dude, shut up." I thought the picture's funny. It's some white dude. It might be like some guy that works in the organization, like a coach or like a batting coach or something. But yeah, they're gonna Photoshop him later. I want to see how that Photoshop's gonna be.
Yeah, that's gotta be right.
Damn good. It has to be. Royce Lewis, name's familiar because he put up a grand slam against us in the Minnesota series last week or 2 weeks ago at Minnesota. He's a rookie that was drafted in 2017, straight out of high school. He's the first overall pick for the Minnesota Twins. He was supposed to be really good, and like injuries have really held him back. Talked about it a little bit last week or 2 weeks ago, and he's hit three grand slams in the last 8 games, or his past 8 games, 3 grand slams, 3 grand slams, 10 homers, and is batting .307 with a .354.
Wait, 10 home runs in 8 games.
Oh, that's the season. My bad. I think season. But the 8 games is the Grand Slams.
Okay. I was like,
my bad. Yeah, I should have put some pause in
yo,
that.
that's crazy.
Yeah, 3 Grand Slams in 8 games, and I think it's over like 175. Yeah, but he's only like 175 plate appearances, I think. So 10 homers, and that's his stat line for the season.
Impressive.
Yeah, exactly. So he's definitely showing his worth. A lot of people thought maybe he was a bust just because of his injuries and stuff, which sucks. A lot of people have so much potential, but injuries just hold him back. So if he stays healthy, he's a pretty damn good player. And this is his rookie season, and we've seen it. And like 3 Grand Slams in 8 games is insane. Almost in a week, he had 3 Grand Slams. That's 12 ribbies.
Yeah, that's super impressive.
Yeah, that's insane. Sticking with the rookie guys, Paul Skeens, just after 2 starts, I think he did in Double-A. They placed him in the development list, and his season is over. He won't be pitching anymore. They said it's not like a performance thing. It's just we want him to be ready, have a full offseason, be ready for next year. And I think it's smart thing to do. But media's running away with it, obviously saying that, they're shutting him down for the season, like blah, blah, blah. But it's to get him in development list, you get him throwing specific pitches and stuff like that he wants to work on.
Yeah, and then like also he did have a full college season too. Like it's not like he hasn't been pitching all season anyway. So I mean, I'd be curious to see like between what he threw in college at LSU and then also through what he did in like rookie ball, single A, and then Double-A or whatever. Like it's probably a year's worth of innings, so it's probably good. I mean, he's the first overall pick. Like they don't want him to really like do anything to his arm or his shoulder or his elbow. So I think it makes sense, especially because he's one of those like high velocity guys, and I think that I've seen a lot of research that say like guys that have high velocity, it's hard to keep them healthy and not have Tommy John and stuff like that. So I don't think there's really much to it. I think it kind of makes sense, and they already have let him get situated Double-A at the start of next year and kind of keep rolling.
Yeah, and like you said, like he had a full college season, so like just putting him out there, like I forget that I think about him like, do they play ball that quickly? And like, bro, they just played a whole college season. Like for people that come out of college, it's like you said, bro, he went from college, maybe had a couple of weeks, months off, and they said, okay, get to baseball, which is probably fun for him. He's like, yeah, I get to keep playing baseball. But if you're thinking long term, you definitely want to keep him healthy. And like you said, he's a guy that really resides on his speed and stuff like that on his pitches. So you want to make sure he keeps that pitcher as much as possible. Exactly.
And I think he pitched between college and then the minors, he pitched like 130 or so innings this year on 24 starts, which I feel like that makes sense. I mean, he got kind of like hit around at Double-A. I think he gave up 4 earned in 2 innings. So yeah, man, I think it makes sense and kind of just get him ready for the year. And he's probably having some of that arm fatigue, and he's got to adjust to the big league, like the minor league lifestyle. So no, I don't think there's much to it.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got, man. That's all for all in the outfield. Get you back in the showers. Get you quick out there because I'm excited for AU today. I can't wait to talk to my professor. He had a lot of things to say.
Yeah. I guess we can go ahead and hop right into it. Yeah. So TCU lost. I talked a lot about. I don't know if Colorado's a good team. I don't know if Deion Sanders is a good coach. I wasn't like super sold on Shador at quarterback. Is Travis Hunter really like everything that he's said to be? Well, I've seen them in person, and I am officially a believer. I hate to say it, I really do. I was I liked him at.
How Prime said you believe?
Yeah, he keeps receipts, and everything that he said was going to happen happened, and yeah, I mean, I think the Colorado the Truth, they're now ranked 22 in the nation. Yeah. Which is, massive. After going 1-11 last year is unbelievable. I think that to give them their flowers, they played a great game. They really didn't make any mistakes. Their offense, they made the play when they needed to. I mean, at the very beginning of the game, TCU got the ball, went 3 and out, and Colorado immediately went all the way down the field and scored a touchdown in, let's say, 12 plays, a nice orchestrated drive. So, I mean, to come in and to do that at a record-breaking crowd at TCU, I think there was 53,000 of us there. So it was 105, it felt like. So to do that and to come off at a 1-11 team, and I think they had close to 85 or 90 new players this year versus last year. So to be able to do that is unbelievable. And I'll eat the crow. I think that all props are to be given to Colorado, their coaching staff, their players, because they bought in, they did everything they needed to do. They had a great scheme. Kind of now transitioning to TCU, I think that there were some serious issues on defense. I was kind of saying it all game, but when you have a 3rd and 2 and your safeties are guarding the slot receivers and they're 15 yards off the ball, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, all day long, Colorado took what TCU gave them, and TCU was giving them all this like short and intermediate stuff, and they took it. And should have had 510 yards passing on the day. So yeah, which it is what it is. So I think that I kept saying throughout the game, I trust TCU's defense. They have 7 starters returning, and their secondary is supposed to be reloaded and be even better than it was last year, and it just didn't look so. I think the secondary got burned the whole time, and it was rough. It was rough out there. It kind of reminded me of like the Big 12 championship game, how you never really realized that you kind of always just expected TCU to go down and score, but then they never did. Like they just didn't. And in the game, you walked away kind of disappointed, upset, because it was a loss. It was a close game. I think the opportunities were there for TCU to win the game. I mean, missed a field goal, which ultimately would have tied it and would have sent it to overtime in the future. 2 interceptions in the red zone by Chandler Morris, the quarterback. One was a fantastic play by Travis Hunter.
Kind of
on our side of the field.
He's a dog, bro.
Yeah, so he's a dog. So, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you got to play better and you got to be there and you got to be ready to go. And Colorado were and TCU weren't, and they just kind of got hit in the face. And I'm curious to see now how TCU responds kind of the rest of the season. I think we got Nicholls State this week, which is like an FCS opponent. So, they need to go out and they kind of need to be upset and be angry and go and take their anger out, because and the week after that they got Houston and Houston's first Big 12 game on the road in Houston. So it's not like it gets easier, and the Big 12 slate's going to be coming up pretty quick. So TCU's got to respond. They got to figure out the answers on defense, and I back them to do that. It's just they need to do it. And then this week Colorado play Nebraska at home, which will kind of be a big game, and I'm expecting it to be pretty packed out. So I'm pretty curious to see how they do. They play some big games later in the season against USC, Oregon State, Oregon. So
yeah, I'm excited to see those games too. Yeah. Well, my man coughs. No, yeah, it was a good game to be at. First game ever. I thought it was just I didn't know much about both teams. I knew that Colorado was a new team, new guys. Like you said, no one knows what's gonna happen. But Sanders, man, he looked good, man. He looked comfortable in that pocket, bro. Maybe TCU just never put any much pressure. I know they got a couple sacks, but he just looked so good, man, rolling out the pocket and just making plays like he was supposed to. He didn't really try too much, I'm being honest. And then just Travis Hunter.
I think it felt that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it felt that anytime that Colorado needed to make a play, I think that they were going to make it. They had 4 receivers with over 100 yards, so it's kind of brutal to see, and you kind of hit it, right? Like TCU, their weak point on their defense really is a defensive line, and they need to be kind of making more plays, and they just didn't.
Yeah, and then Travis Hunter, I had no idea who he was. Like I said, I'm new to this college thing, man, and my friend told me, he's like, "Oh, bro, you're lucky you get to see like the best college football player like to ever play." And I was like, "Who?" He's like, "Travis Hunter." He's like, he's playing on both sides of the ball, corner and receiver, and made some plays, got touchdowns, got over 100 yards, got a crazy pick on the goal line. That was just insane. He just ball hawked it. It was amazing. And on top of that, he played over almost 130 snaps in Texas heat
over 120
with pads and a helmet on, which I don't think people are like recognizing that enough as they should have been. Like, dude, that's insane. You have to be so like healthy and in condition to be doing all that. And the only thing that people are saying that's gonna cause him from not winning the Heisman is if he keeps doing that. You're playing more, so that means more likely of injury. You're just on the field for longer, so not that it's bound to happen, but it could happen more because you're playing more.
And I think that I've seen a lot of people kind of talk about how like his Heisman candidacy is like it's on the scene now. I mean, you don't really see people often play both sides of the ball like that, and you definitely don't see them dominate like he did. So small sample size. I'll be curious to see kind of how it progresses throughout the rest of the year, and as they continue playing good competition. I know they got USC, they got Oregon, Utah, Oregon State, all Washington, like all really good opponents. So it'll be interesting to see if they can kind of keep it up, and you know, I'm definitely watching. I'll be kind of tuning in as they can. But yeah, man, to kind of keep moving. Some brief talking points throughout the rest. So throughout last weekend, and then kind of moving on to the weekend preview. I think that the ACC is a really deep conference. One of the big marquee games of the weekend was Florida State LSU. And I know that I had mentioned that I thought LSU was going to win. I thought LSU had a better team, but it didn't look that way at all. I mean, Florida State dominated them and really just showed like why that they're now a top 5 team in the nation. So I'm definitely kind of interested to see, you know, how they continue the rest of the week or rest of the season, and kind of how the ACC shapes up the rest of the way. One of the other out-of-conference games that the ACC had was North Carolina playing South Carolina, which, again, was one of the games that I had mentioned last week. Got that prediction wrong also, as I did with LSU, as I did with TCU. So kind of keep that train rolling. UNC beat South Carolina. Pretty efficient day, and I think that Drake May kind of showed why he's one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the nation right now. And, you know, South Carolina have a lot of things to kind of figure out, and there's supposed to be a lot of things that, you know, they were going to possibly complete on the SEC East this year. And, you know, there was a lot of hype around Spencer Rattler, and, you know, he threw for 350 yards, but, you know, didn't really make the plays that you needed him to make. And then the last thing around the ACC is last night was the final like big game of the weekend. Duke had a big upset on Clemson, where there was like a lot of things that, you know, Clemson really was never in the game, and they were a preseason, I think they were 7 before the game started, and they dropped all the way. They lost the game, and the only reason why they scored any points was because Duke muffed the punt. So it ended up being 28-7, and I think that it just kind of shows like, hey, like Duke is a really good team, and they have the talent. They're coached really well. They have a good quarterback. And I'll be interested. The ACC is a conference that I kind of want to keep an eye on, because I think the upper echelon of the ACC could kind of make some moves around the national scene, which is pretty impressive. And then quickly, just a little weekend preview. There's 3 big games that I kind of think are going on this week. So the first one that I'm interested in watching is Ole Miss Tulane. So Ole Miss is ranked number 20, and then Tulane is number 24. You don't see SEC teams really do this very often. So that's why I'm pretty interested to see kind of how it goes and what the result of this is. Tulane, like at the end of last season, beat a really good USC team, Caleb Williams in the Cotton Bowl. So that's, you know, a big game. And then Ole Miss is a really good team. They are really good in the transfer portal. Lane Kiffin is a really good coach and have a really good quarterback in Jackson Dart. So I think it's going to be a tight game, and I think that there's a lot of good things to go around it, and a lot of reason to be excited about it. But I think Ole Miss is going to win. I don't think it's going to be a massive blowout, but I think, you know, 3 to 7 points on the road, I think, is a good result for Ole Miss. The second game that I want to talk about is Oregon going to Texas Tech. I think that there was a lot more hype around this game before this past weekend when Tech lost to Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Tech is one of those teams that was like had a lot of hype going into the season. People thought that they could make some noise in the Big 12. And, you know, Oregon was going to be the test where they can see, like, hey, can they compete on the national stage? Like, are they a talented team? Do they have the talent to do so? Well, obviously they lost this past weekend to Wyoming. Not a good loss. Really bad for them. Tyler Show, their quarterback, transferred to Texas Tech from Oregon. So, you know, is it a revenge game for him? Does he kind of have a point to prove that, you know, maybe he should be the starting quarterback over Bo Nix Oregon? But I think ultimately, I think Oregon has more talent than Texas Tech does. I think that they're used to more these big game environments. But I think that Texas Tech, I think that environment will help them. And kind of, you know, things are kind of weird in Lubbock after dark. And, you know, I think ultimately Oregon will win, but I think it's going to be a really close game. I could see it being, 2, 3, 4 points. But I mean, going upwards of 7. But if Texas Tech were to win, it wouldn't surprise me because I think they are a good team. They have talent, but I just don't think that they have the playmakers to do it. And I think that Oregon's a better team and kind of more prepared for this on the national stage. And then the game of the week, very clearly it's Texas against Alabama. So this is the second year in a row they played. Last year it was at Texas. This year it's at Alabama. So I think it's going to show a lot about both teams. I think, is Texas really back? Is Quinn Ewers their quarterback? Does he deserve to be in the Heisman conversation? Can he make big plays on a national stage when they need to? Is Alabama still the national power that they are? I mean, they have so much depth and so much talent, but there was questions at quarterback going into the season. Is Jalen Milroe their quarterback? Can he win big games and big moments? I think that ultimately, right, I think it's going to just show that, Texas has the talent, but I think at the end of the day, they're still Texas. I don't think that they have the mentality to go in Alabama and compete. I'm looking forward to eating my words in a week's time and to come back and talk and after Texas, blows out Alabama at home. But right now I think that Alabama's gonna win. I can see it getting to as much as like 17, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's a close game. If Texas is ready, it may be 7 to 10 points. But yeah, I think Alabama still wins the game. But at the end of the day, I mean that's Austin University. That's kind of all I have on college ball. It was a good weekend. I think it's going to be an interesting season, and I think that there's a lot of really, really talented teams that aren't, the SEC, which is good. I think the SEC still has some of the top talent in Georgia, Alabama. They're all still really good teams, but I think that this could be a year where there's a national championship team that isn't an SEC. So, yeah, man. Moving on. I haven't talked with you about this yet. But I think I want to rename the Jinx of the Week to YDKB of the Week. If you don't know what that means, it means you don't know ball of the week, which clearly I don't know ball. I love
that. Yes.
Yeah. So Austin, YDKB, you don't know ball. Everything that came out of my mouth last week, yeah, clearly everything that came out of my mouth last week was wrong. Prime can coach. TCU can't play defense. LSU can't beat Florida State. South Carolina can't beat North Carolina. I mean,
you're the fate of God, bro. Yeah.
There's Bookie with Trenton, and now there's me. So,
yeah.
I don't know ball apparently. Yeah, I don't know. I'm. It's tough. If you would have seen me on Saturday, I know all he did, and I was a rough state of affairs. I was upset.
It was a rough day in general. Saturday, bro. It was a rough day.
Yeah. It kicked me while I'm down. The Rangers get smoked too while we're there. So I maybe I don't know ball. I thought I did, but I guess I don't. So
yeah, you can get humbled real quick, man, with these sports every weekend now. And NFL's about to start, bro. So
yeah,
it's okay, man. It's only gonna get worse. Just telling you right now.
Yeah, so we're gonna take a week off from giving hot takes. We just need a break. We need to get a win. So
yeah, let's do that. Let's focus on that.
Let's transition to the Rangers. Let's see what.
Let's go to the Rangers, man. I'll give you a little break. Let's see.
I don't want to talk about the Rangers.
Yeah, again, it's another week. We're gonna keep it short and sweet. We suck once again. Pitching terrible once again. Offense is kind of getting hot-ish. Not even. I mean, you have Mitch Garver. Has been absolutely dogging ever since I think late July or early June or early July, and then Seager just being Seager. We saw it live yesterday. He had 2 home runs. His first one was first pitch and just absolutely just pissed on it. He was pointing my leg, and I was happy about it. I was like, hey, he did it. And then still didn't win money because JP France decided to get a strikeout, and what's his face couldn't get a hit. Nathaniel Lowe couldn't get a hit, and Jeremy Pena, Pena decided to get 2 hits. Okay, but yeah, no, I mean that's another series loss for the Silver Boot Series for the Rangers. That's 7 years in a row that we can't beat the Astros. I mean, I could care less about the Silver Boot unless we start winning it. Then I will care about it and rub it in Astros' face, but that's not going to happen. Yeah, no, it was a great environment, man. It was a lot of Houston fans. That stadium was loud, and sadly, they were more louder than us Ranger fans.
Yeah,
Like
it
it
definitely
seemed like
felt
a
like
home
there
game
was. I was kind of
for them.
surprised. Yeah, I was surprised at how many Houston fans there were compared to Texas fans, which not ideal, especially when it's a big series. You need to make some plays and
Yeah,
to kind
it's
of get
usually
outshadowed by
because the Rangers
your
are actually
rival.
competing. So I mean, that's why you get. I think that's where you even get a little bit more Ranger fans. But I think if it would have been like I mean, like, I think a couple years ago, I mean, you still get people just because it's Houston Rangers, but definitely don't even get close to what it is now. But you at least try to compete with the Astros. But I mean, Astros have just been doing it for so long; they know exactly what to do. I mean, shit, they've been to ALCS. I think I think I heard about this. Like I think at least 4 years in a row where they at least made it to the ALCS. So
That
or even
sounds
more
right.
than that. But they're in their dynasty phase, and I mean, shit, there's nothing we can do about it. It just sucks that it's the same team that is in your state. So I don't know how long it's gonna be like that. You would think this year was gonna change, but I'm gonna tell you right now that it's not gonna change. As we're recording this,
Doesn't
Rangers
look
down
like it.
4-0. Otuve pimped a solo shot,
Oh,
and
sweet.
Uvaldi's days off is already done. He made it 1 1/3. So
That's
we'll talk
awesome.
about what happened today with the designation stuff. Pitching obviously is still a damn problem, but there's nothing much you can do. There's nothing in the minor leagues that you can do. Glenn Otto got DFA'd. Feel bad for the guy. He really didn't pitch much, but when he did, it was bad. He just got put in terrible situations. Spores somehow gets to see another fucking day on this team on the fake IL. Why can't you just drop his bitch ass? Ian Kennedy's back with the club. I'm going on a rant right now. This is pissing me off, dude.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, but
Go
Ian
ahead,
Kennedy
bro.
finally gets called up. He got called up early in the year, got his contract selected. He did okay. I mean, I think he got rocked, so they sent him right back down. I kind of forgot we had him again. He was with us a couple years ago. He was our closer. He was a pretty damn good closer. He got traded at the deadline, I think, 2 years ago, and we got something good. I think it was him and Cal Gibson that got traded to Philly. So I mean, he had a pretty good. Like, it was one of those just like one season wonders, and they're gonna hope that he can do it again here. But yeah, so that's what the moves were today for the Rangers, and Bruce Bochy is just trying everything. They said we're gonna do everything, and we mentioned it briefly, or me and Austin were talking off camera. We're like, they asked him on the interview they had for them today. It's like, what are the possibilities? We could see Evan Carter just for like, I don't know, something for this damn team to get something up. And he said,
Get some
man,
juice.
he said everything's on the table. Like, we're taking every single possibility, and that makes me think like, I told you last week, what if Leiter comes up and like he's had 2 pretty good starts ever since going on the developmental list? And I mean, I don't think you call him up to Globe Life if you guys saw where he was pitching in front of Mac Maddox and some live BP, telling him some stuff. I don't think you just do that. I really do think they've thought about it for sure and said, hey, I mean, he can throw 99. I know he's going to be in a tough situation, but shit, can't be worse than what the bullpen is doing right now.
I think that it can't be worse than what Swarms gave us yesterday.
That was absolutely like, we saw that live, bro. That shit was so sad. It was so sad. I
thought we saw him getting DFA'd in person.
I don't know how they just didn't do it right there and then.
Yeah,
but
don't even
2 years ago,
tomorrow.
Me and my coworkers, Spores, we're haters of Spores, obviously. And we were talking about it before the TCU game the night before. Like, dude, Spores actually was having a decent year. He was actually doing pretty good.
Yeah.
And then he just wasn't able to get guys out. And like, seeing that live actually killed me. I'm like, I'm watching Spores shit my team away in the win again. Like, why is he still on this? Like, but what sucks is that he's actually one of your best relievers. I hate to say it, as bad as he is, he's one of your best relievers. Like it or not, he's one of your best relievers. So, again, we're trying everything. I really don't think you should be surprised if maybe we can light it up like 6, 7, 8 inning guy. They're testing him or they're doing him in AAA or AA with just a couple innings. So I mean that's all you need. I'm gonna ask for 2 innings from him, and if he can get me shutout 6 outs, dude. I mean obviously I'll take that. So
okay.
Yeah, it's Rangers, and then Wyatt Lanford gets called up to AA. Gotta love it.
Yep.
That's another guy straight out of college, just still playing ball, and he's just raking.
Yeah, he went 0 for 4 in his debut, which it's tough, but at like high A ball, I mean, he had an OPS of over 1,000, so it's pretty elite stuff, and just could have been an off day. So I'm curious to kind of see how he does, and I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes out the year at maybe they call Evan Carter up to the majors, and I wouldn't be surprised if Langford kind of settles in quick and maybe he goes up to AAA by this year. But I think that he probably stays at AA, and then probably next year he starts off with AAA with, and I have maybe the back end of the year next year that he comes up to the majors. So
yeah, definitely possible.
Could be exciting. I mean, we need some center field and left field help, especially at the plate.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, man, could be big. Series. I mean, after the Astro series is over, we got Oakland and then some big gains against Toronto, which they're kind of our direct competition for playoff right now in the wild card chase. So
we got to worry about wild card now, man. As of today, it was only half a game. They're gonna get close, and I'll tell you right now, the Astros probably beat the Rangers today, so we're gonna even be more farther behind. So yeah, it's gonna be at Toronto. These games they're winnable if you still want to even be considered in the conversation of playoffs. So
okay, but yeah, man. So that's kind of it on the Rangers. Let's kind of move to the last team that really has stuff going on in the Metroplex, and that's the Cowboys. So they open up their season finally. NFL is back. First game of the week is on Thursday. I think it's Chiefs Lions, but Cowboys play Sunday night in New York City, or I guess New Jersey, but whatever. In New York against the Giants. So I'm excited to see. They're 3-point favorite. They're 3-point favorites, or the Giants are 3-point favorites.
Yeah, Cowboys are 3-point favorites.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. I mean, I think the Giants are a good team. I think that Brian Dable is a really good coach. I don't want to give the Giants too much credit, but trying to be realistic here, I've tried giving hot takes, and maybe I just got to be more of a realistic fan. Maybe that'll kind of help out.
Yeah, you just don't expect disappointment like me, bro.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see the Cowboys offense. No more Kellen Moore. We don't have Zeke anymore. Big Mike's calling the plays now. We have a really talented receiver room. Tony Pollard is, a great back, and Deuce Vaughn is there. He's, kind of showing out. Offensive line, aside from Tyler Smith, is pretty healthy. So, yeah, I'm really excited to see the offense. I think that the Giants also have a really good offense. Danny Dimes he's not a bad quarterback. I don't think he's going to win you like a Super Bowl, but I think that he's there, and he's top half of the quarterbacks in the league. I think he's better than them. Obviously, Saquon's back, and kind of curious to see if he can kind of stay healthy this year and all that stuff. But I'm not super terrified of the receivers. They have Darren Waller this year, which is a good upgrade at tight end for them, whatever. But I think that their offense will kind of test the Cowboys' defense, which is what we need. We need to kind of see what we have on defense, kind of see what Trey Diggs, and excited to see like Stephon Gilmore and all that stuff kind of debut, as well as our linebacker depth, which kind of feels like our biggest concern on defense, and kind of see how that looks. So, I mean, what are you kind of looking forward to the game, and what are you thinking?
Just a lot, man. Just football to be back. I'm excited for that. I'm not gonna lie, I am kind of scared. I have the Cowboys winning 24-20 on this game. I think I'm not worried about the defense. Like, I know the defense. I mean, Dan Quinn's back. We're basically almost running it again with the same. Just upgrading the position. So I know the defense is going to do his job. I'm just scared of. You're not scared. I don't know what to expect from the offense yet. Last season, I think was my last season that I was not rooting for that, but I gave up on him kind of already. Like
oh no,
I've always been the Dak I'm like that one meme where like Jesus on the cross, like covering all the people behind him. That was me with Dak haters. That was me. I was like, please stop. I was like, he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. Please, no. Yeah, but after last year, that performance at San Francisco, I was like, I think that's the last straw. I can't keep defending this guy. Like, I think he easily is a top 8 to 10 quarterback in the league. I think put him wherever you want. I think he's up there for sure. And he can win you regular season games. We've seen it 12 back-to-back season wins, and I just don't think he's a Super Bowl contender guy that can get you to the Super Bowl. If anything, your defense is going to carry you, but that's another team, another offense where you gave him the weapons, so there shouldn't really be an excuse. I mean, he's had it before when you're rocking with CD, Cooper, and Lamb.
Yeah.
So, no, CD, Cooper, and Gallup, my bad.
Yeah.
And so you now do it again. You got Brandon Cooks, great addition. Michael Gallup, that he says it's the healthiest he's ever been, which I'm really excited to see him. I think people are really underestimating him since last year was kind of, I mean, he was off his ACL. And you could just tell he wasn't confident on it. And CD Lamb being CD Lamb, going for probably 1,000 yards and getting the ball almost every single time. So running back, we'll see how that works too. I want to see how the run game is going to be. And just offense, again, like you said, no Kellen Moore, no Zeke. I'm excited. I don't know what to expect. So.
Yeah, I think those are all pretty valid points. I'm kind of still that guy that's like pretty big on the Dak train. I think he's a really good quarterback.
Yeah, I had to hop off, bro. I'm sorry.
I was
on it for a long time.
I think that it's fair to question him making big plays in big times, which that's fine. This flu game is going crazy right now.
How Jordan do it, bro?
Yeah, I have no idea, but I think that I'll be interested to kind of see how he performs this year. So I think that the Cowboys end up winning 31-21. I think that our wide receivers are too good for the Giants secondary. I don't think that the secondary that the Giants have is pretty good. But honestly, who knows, man? I don't know anything anymore, so I don't know ball.
I know, right? Like you could say stuff, but I don't know if it's going to happen or not. So
yeah,
should have had us losing.
Yeah, man. I can't say that. I'm delusional enough still to kind of convince myself that we'll win every single game. So it is what it is. But yeah, man, I think that's pretty much it. Kind of a short episode today. You got any final thoughts or anything like that?
No, man. It's football, man. Our mental health's gonna be out the drain now for sure. It's gonna depend on these guys even more because the Rangers have absolutely drained me. So
yeah, it's excited, definitely kind of upsetting that, you know.
Yay.
Yeah, I have two ways to kill my mental health every weekend, each day. But yeah, man, thank you guys so much for listening. Big news on the fantasy football front. Ollie and I have a big week 1 matchup against each other.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll let you guys know how that goes, you know, who wins, you know, what shit we're talking with each other.
Who actually knows ball.
And yeah, you know, maybe my I don't know ball streak will keep going. So
I really hope so. I'm praying on it.
We'll see. So, but with that, man, thank you guys so much for listening. We try to keep it a little bit shorter today and kind of just testing some new things out. So, like Ollie said at the beginning, you know, go follow Instagram, go follow TikTok, go follow our personal Instagrams and Twitters and stuff like that, which I know Ollie's pretty active on that stuff, and I'm trying to get a little bit better at it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening.